Tell everybody the good news of Corey the Joy, and I appreciate
She usually gets you there. I appreciate you from across the top.
that. What is going on, y'all? This is Josh from Team Super Shoe, and welcome back to another episode of the Shoe Show. We are not talking about Irish jig shoes. No, we are talking about the one and only Corey LaJoy, the super shoe of NASCAR, and just anything NASCAR related. And on today, St. Patrick's Day. Today, brought on my buddies Mike Bostic and Derek Nelson to chat some racing. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How y'all doing? Top of the morning to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody that's tuned in. Hope y'all all got your green on, or we'll reach to the screen and pinch it, or whatever we did in elementary school.
Right. Well, y'all, if you are on Facebook, obviously right now we're only live on Facebook, Team Super Shoe on Facebook. That is where everything has started. And we like to keep it there as a family to see it first and hang out with us pregame, have a drink or eat some Chili's and just hang out with us. You can comment and we'll interact with you. So hope you guys enjoy. Later on, we're going to have it on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube later on, please like, comment, subscribe, all those things. The more you share us, the more eyeballs get to see us. And, the more people hear about the good news of Corey LaJoy. And finally, on the audio realm, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, I appreciate you. And if you could rate and review, and again, let everybody know that this is a good podcast to listen to, not just about Corey, but just about NASCAR in general. Finally, I'm here. I'm going to be eating some delicious chips today. I got to tell you guys, for a long time, I have loved Chili's. So when Corey got Chili's on his car, it was pretty cool. This is one of those places that's like, it doesn't break the bank. And the food's always delicious. They always had good beer, good margaritas, and the chips and salsa were always the best, and it's free. So I wanted to let everybody know about the LaJoy and the Fiesta contest that our buddy Derek has got going. What you got to do is go on to Facebook, Team Super Shoe on Facebook, the group on Facebook. Go and give us a picture. You got to go out to Chili's, bring your family, bring get the waitress involved, whoever you want. Make it a creative, fun picture, and wear some LaJoy swag and take a picture, and then you hashtag it on the Facebook. Hashtag LaJoy and the Fiesta. That's LaJoy, his normal name with an N at the end, playing off of his name, obviously. And so I hope you guys think about doing that this week, because, man, we got some good contenders, but I want to see more. And it's really cool to see people go out and represent Corey out in the wild, I guess, because, it'd be much easier for people to go and get their Chili's could have gone and put their name on Chase Elliott's car or somebody else, right? But instead they chose our guy, and that's pretty dang cool. So otherwise, how y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Freaking ready to get to this.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, we have something up our sleeve for the winner of this thing. Not only are we giving away free $50 gift card that my buddy Derek has funded right out of his pocket, but also we got some swag that we're giving away. Also, well, I can't tell you, but something cool is coming, and whoever wins, they're gonna be glad that they entered into this LaJoy and the Fiesta contest. So I'm just saying, y'all better do it, because you're gonna regret it when you see the extra. So,
Dude, don't downplay it, man. It's not just cool. It's like freaking awesome cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no words for it. It's something super special that it completes the full package. $50 gift card, some swag, and a super duper surprise.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to spoil it. You're just gonna have to wait and find out. It's not that hard to go enjoy some Chili's, wear your stuff, take a picture. Not that hard. So we gotta represent our boy right. So, all right. Well,
That's right.
Hold on, Chili's. Hold on a second.
Oh, hey, before we go too much further, What's everybody drinking? So here on the Shoe Show, we like to all have our favorite adult beverages. Some of us drink adult beverages. You may just have a bottle of water, and that's fine. But it's Sunday. We're NASCAR fans. We're gonna be drinking. So I got some of that quality this week, fellas. Some Crown Royal. How about you? Yeah, I'm splurging, man. I'm making a lot of royalties off the Shoe Show. I'm probably bringing in 1.6 million a week or so, and I'm not trying to brag, but now I can afford $50 bottles of whiskey, so it's a privilege.
Right. Yep. Well, I'm drinking. I don't have the bottle with me, but I'm drinking my my favorite, or one of my favorites, the old Woodford Reserve bourbon. Not the double oak. I already finished that off from when Rob sent it to me, but this is the cheaper version.
Dude, I am working on right now within my Arctic tumbler. Well, technically, it's my wife's Arctic tumbler. Her initials are on one side. We got Corinthians on the other side talking about love because this was her Valentine's Day present. And this Milo's iced tea is still ice cold and it's been in here for a little bit. Can't put any alcohol in it because my wife would kill me if her tea had a hint of something a little extra. So I just kind of borrowed this. I figured I'd promote Arctic a little bit. And, it's green, St. Patty's Day. And, if y'all ain't had Milo's sweet tea, y'all missing out.
Well, I'm going to start it off. So the season so far, I kind of wanted to catch up. This is the last time we went live. It was during the Daytona 500 Sunday. That was not the Daytona 500 Sunday. It was the day before Daytona 500 Monday. So we didn't have a whole lot of racing to talk about. So just to catch us up a little bit, Byron, he won the Daytona 500. Daniel Suarez, he had that thrilling finish at Atlanta with that 3-wide finish, and nobody wrecked. I'm telling y'all, Atlanta's the best racetrack on the grid now. I mean, I still love Bristol. I still love, Darlington and, the classics. But, man, Atlanta is always awesome. Since this repave, man, I'm blown away. And then Larson, he won in Vegas, and Christopher Bell won finally last weekend in Phoenix. Corey finished P4 in Daytona, P13 in Atlanta, and then the past 2 weekends at Vegas and Phoenix has not been too great of a finish. However, he showed a lot of promise, but he's finished in the 30s because of getting into late race wrecks and what have you. One thing I wanted to mention, Phoenix, the Phoenix wreck last week stopped Corey's 44 race win streak, or no, sorry, not win streak. That'd be nice. 44 race streak with no DNFs. And, I didn't think a ton about it, throughout the past year. I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool and all. But after researching it, listen to this. So in 2023 season, he was the 15th driver in NASCAR Cup Series history not to have a DNF in any race. Which also included that this is not included in the stat, but he didn't even DNF in the All-Star or the
Clash.
What else is there? Clash. That's it. Yeah. So the ones that are just exhibition races. This with the 2017 implemented DVP clock, which only allows the team 7 minutes to fix a car on pit road. So basically, back in the day, people could go and not DNF they could wreck on the first lap, go work on the car that was totaled, fix it, come back out, and finish the race with 10 laps to go, and they would count as not a DNF. So it's even more impressive that he's been doing it since 2017 because they only get 7 minutes to fix this thing. So, and on pit road, not in the garage. So, most notable who has achieved this, Earnhardt's done it twice, Harvick's done it 4 times, Boyer's twice, and he did it back-to-back. Juan Pablo did it twice, which is ironic because he likes to hit jet dryers. Biffle did it twice, back-to-back. He did it twice back-to-back. So I don't know if my notes mean 4 times, but either way. Oh, no, he said 3 total. Sorry. The only current drivers who've done this accomplishment once in the Cup that are still racing are Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse, and Logano did it twice. And out of all the race car drivers in the history of NASCAR, Biffle holds the no DNF record of 89 races. So that's pretty incredible.
There's something to mention. Sorry, don't mean to cut you off. Not
No,
just
right.
fender repairs, any hood repairs. Back in the day, they would actually replace the race engine mid-race and do it in an astounding amount of time. So that's something else to just kind of notate with the DNFs, man.
I mean, remember backup cars? Like that's not really a thing anymore, unless you wreck like in practice or qualifying. I think you're okay to do it, but back in the day, didn't they go to backup cars during the race too?
Well, yeah, you had the All-Star fiasco where, like, was it 3/4 of the field and one of the opening laps all crashed, and then they said, "Okay, bring out your your backup cars." But yeah, no, nowadays, unless you crash in practice and go to a backup, you got what you got.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you guys. So, Corey's top 10 at Vegas. It was refreshing. And that's kind of that's the bread and butter type of racetrack. And he had a top 10 car there. Unfortunately, towards the end of the race, I think he was 15th or something, and he got loose around the 6th car and kind of ruined the day with 30 laps to go or something. But what do you guys think this means for Spire and for Corey to finally have a good 1.5 mile program? And where do you see it going?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, you got to take these kind of things step by step. When you don't come out, running successfully right off the bat, you have to stack your pennies one by one. And the fact that they've improved on their 1.5 mile program is a notable step in the right direction. The way they've been running this year, I mean, the 1.5 miles are the bread and butter of the sport right now. So yeah, that just shows potential for Spire across the board for success.
Yeah, I was so I'll be honest. When we got to the first 1.5 miles, true 1.5 miles for the year, I was kind of up in the air on whether or not I should feel like there was going to be a ton of improvement. Like every bit of me as a fan wanted to say, okay, yeah, they had 3 months off and some new sim time and all these things, well, hopefully it's much better. But having followed Corey and Spire for a length of time now, we know that the 1.5 mile program was not always something to kind of write home about, so to speak. So to see us run top 5, top 10, top 12 or so for the balance of the day under race speed was not something that I was really expecting, but it was something that I was just super thrilled about. Just because piggybacking off of what Derek said, these 1.5 miles are what make up the predominant amount of the schedule. So if we can bring that kind of speed to that many more racetracks every week, I mean, I think that only pays us more dividends, more eyes on us, more respect gained from the competitors that are normal front runners. And I was pretty encouraged. So my hats, they're off to everybody back at the shop at Spire. You guys brought a heck of a car, and we're as fans, we are impressed, and we thank for all your hard work.
Yeah, man. Well, next question I wanted to ask you guys. I want to first play this video with audio, and then I'll bring up my question. So hold on a second.
Bet between your 3 teammates, who gets the first victory for Spire outside of Justin Haley?
No, because I mean, we gotta start running consistently in the top 10, top 15. We need to have more days like Vegas before we ever really plan to win. As Doug Ducart, obviously he has plenty of years with Chip Ganassi. He always has a Chip Ganassi quote.
So cutting that guy off. So the past 2 weeks have been rough for Corey just because of the finishes. He has had some good cars and hasn't had the finish to show for it. And in the past 2 weekends, this guy here, Carson Hocevar, he got 2 top 15s, and Corey's finishing 30th or worse. So wanted to know, do you think that's affecting Corey? Do you think there is like a competitive thing where he's like, man, I'm the senior driver and I gotta show up, or do you think Corey's doing okay? Because I'd be a little bit competitive, right?
I think Corey's been around long enough to know that if you can look at the progress the team's made this year and the way he's been running up until the past couple of races, that racing luck happens good and bad. And, he had no control over what happened last weekend, and it just happened to be the thing that took him out the race. If he remains in the race, he probably finishes ahead of Carson. Not taking anything away from Carson. He's a talented driver. But I would like to think that Old Shoe's mature enough and he's been around the sport long enough to know that you can't base the remainder of the season and your racing mentality on the first handful of races of the year. They haven't even really gotten their legs under them yet. We've gone from super speedway to super speedway with an asterisk to a mile and a half, and then you go to Phoenix, which I consider a short track. So they've been all over the place. So I think once we get Bristol under our belt and we see what happens there, Corey runs pretty good there. Then, going forward, you kind of look and see, you put your feelers out there to see where the team's at and where the organization's at. But I like the competition, man. I mean, if he sees Carson Hocevar finish ahead of him and he's not driven even more, and that hunger in his belly is not more ferocious now to get out there and try to get that win first, then something's wrong. But I don't think that's Shoe, man. I think Shoe's going to get out there and he's going to prove that he's out there for a reason.
Yeah, we'll be just fine. I kind of think that every driver is just naturally competitive, right? Like they want to do better than everybody else, teammate or not. But I think you have to look at the fact that Corey, he didn't. Well, Vegas is a little different, but at least at Phoenix, he wasn't even there to finish the race, the last 100 laps or whatever it was. So I don't think that the guy can look at it and say, oh, well, my brand new rookie teammate is outperforming me. Well, I mean, it's not all just by default. I mean, you didn't finish 2 races, you might as well say. I mean, Las Vegas, when I say that he didn't finish the race, we just didn't finish it anywhere near what the capability of the car showed because of that late race spin. So that being said, I don't think it's any object to him. I think that he's mind cleared and focused forward and ready for Bristol today. We showed a lot of strength there in the fall race last year. And so I'm hoping just a lot of the notes correlate and, hopefully we can get back to, a good finish and get some momentum and some positivity built back up in these guys. Cause I'm sure it was rough to kind of start the year on a high and then the last 2 weeks, just not so awesome. So best foot forward on to Bristol.
Yeah, and our Facebook user there brings up a good point that just because Corey crashed out, that doesn't reflect how he had been running all race.
Exactly.
Yeah, us as fans of Corey, he doesn't get enough love from the broadcast. A lot of the guys that run 15th and back don't, unless they have famous last names. So we're watching the end cars and we're watching Corey run and we're watching him battle. And anytime they would drop the flag, he was picking up spots left and right. And he had a lengthy battle with Joey Logano, and that kind of eventually he got the lucky dog. He outraced Joey on one of the restarts, and he got the lucky dog. But racing luck doesn't care how well you're running. Eventually it's gonna rear its ugly head, and so there's hope. He was running well. He wasn't running great, but he was running well before his misfortunes.
We got a question that came in, so we'll answer this question real quick. So kind of hitting on the same topic that we had before, from the Facebook user says, what are you guys' thoughts about everyone starting to say that Corey is on the hot seat with Hocevar running the way he has, and do you think Spire would be that cutthroat?
No, Mike. What'd you think, Mike? Tell us, buddy.
No, I don't. So Spire hasn't got a victory yet with Corey and Carson and Zane Smith, right? So I don't think they can put this mark on him to say that, a host of ours went out and ran 10th a couple times. So LaJoy, you're out the door, because in 3 years while you were here helping us cut our teeth and figure out all the logistics and the new car and all that stuff, all that information in between, I don't think he goes anywhere. I definitely don't think he's on a hot seat at all. And so I don't want to speak on the number, but I'm pretty sure it was over this past offseason, Corey announced that there was a multi-year contract extension with Spire. So I mean, he's not going anywhere, guys. It's going to be okay. Spire, they're going to be stacking pennies with Corey for what I hope is a long time. Just simply because Corey said when he came on with this team, like, he believed in what the leadership was trying to pave a way for in the long-term scheme. And so I think Corey was interested in starting off just grinding it out with a brand new team and bringing it through the upper echelons of the sport. And they've done nothing but climb and improve every year. So I don't think you get rid of the leadership that you find in Corey LaJoy. I don't think you just send that down the road.
Corey's the only consistent thing they've had since they've decided to start racing full time. And I think the fact that you've got a guy like Corey that's willing to step up and know that he's not going to be competing to win races every weekend right off the bat. He's going to be there to help the team build up to where they can eventually compete for races every time they go on track. And he's the one that, he may not be the cornerstone of the team, but he helped them put that cornerstone down for which they could build the foundation for the team to grow. And, technically Zane Smith is a teammate, but I think the Trackhouse interactions right there kind of gets muddled up in between the Spire and the Zane Smith relationship. So technically you really only got Carson Hocevar and Corey. And Carson Hocevar, as far as the Cup Series goes, he's still wet behind the ears. And Corey ain't going anywhere anytime soon. That contract extension was a good thing. And it's not just a good thing for Corey, it's a good thing for Spire, and it's a good thing for whatever teammates are running out of the Spire Motorsports garage every weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
They responded. They said, "Thank you for addressing my question, and I think it's ridiculous to see how quickly some of the industry seems to be willing to just write off someone that has been so influenced to a team." So I definitely agree. One thing I do want to address before I continue on with the show, I have it on the hashtag on the show here, but in case you can't scan it on a QR code, guys that are watching it now live, if you go to website StreamYard.com, that's where we're broadcasting from, /Facebook, as long as you're logged into your Facebook, whether it's on your phone or on your laptop or whatever, you just click a button that says, I think it's like an I agree button or something like that. And whenever you comment on here, we'll actually be able to see your profile and who's actually talking. So not to think, I'm not just saying Facebook user because I'm trying to avoid you. Really can't see who's talking. So if you guys want that, it's there. So next question I wanted to ask you guys again. I'm playing a video with audio real quick, and then we're gonna talk about it. So here a second.
The real talk this weekend is with the new package and some of the tires. What did you maybe feel yesterday during the car in that extended practice?
I think people had some unrealistic expectations coming here. The only real change that we tried to test was the up-down splitter and the different diffuser stuff, where the up-down diffuser didn't kind of provide the type of racing that we anticipated, where this was the next best option for what we had. So it's not going to look a ton different, I don't think. I think a product of these cars are a little bit heavy, they're a little underpowered, and the way this track races, it's never really, been a thrilling type of, race product like you're used to seeing at the intermediates in Atlanta. So I think some unrealistic expectations coming in, because we ran through all the tire options, ran through all the downforce levels, and this is what the best was coming out of the test.
And obviously
So Corey commented on them asking him about this new short track package, and I wanted to know, good or bad, are we settled on our opinions of this new short track package, or are we still waiting for like a true test where they're going to beat and bang a little bit like Martinsville?
No, we are not settled because the problem is not the short track package. The problem is not the wheels. It's not the horsepower. It's the car in general. Dale Jr. even said that on Dale Jr. Download. You can experiment and try to get closer to what you want your racing product to be, but when the bulk of the drivers are telling you they want more horsepower and you ignore them and you set up test sessions for an up down splitter and mess with the rear diffuser and different tire packages, I think it's just going to be a moving target until they finally move on to, was it the Generation 8 car, whenever that may be. I think anytime you introduce a new car, you're going to have some aspects of that car that's going to take away from an aspect of racing that some of the fans enjoyed. I've seen the car put on really good racing. I did like the fact that watching the car with the smaller rear diffuser, it kind of kept the drivers on edge a little bit, and you saw some really talented drivers lose control of it, which is a good thing because the drivers actually have to drive the car. But I don't think we're there yet. I think Martinsville and Bristol are definitely going to be much better tracks to test what they really want to do with the short track package. Hopefully make some gains in the right area and satisfy some of the people. I'm not that picky, man. If there's cars on track, I'm a happy NASCAR fan.
I can second that last statement there. Cars on track are always a good thing, but so I'll say for myself, I don't think until you go to Martinsville or Richmond. Bristol, it's a short track, but I still think it kind of handles like a faster track, if you will, with the significant banking and all that. I'm interested to see what kind of grip levels the car have on a relatively flat bank track like Martinsville or Richmond. Is it going to produce multi-groove, multi-lane racing, or are we going to kind of be stuck with this kind of like single file freight train, if you will? And that's not to beat up on NASCAR, right? Like they know that the package isn't where it needs to be. That's why they're exploring other options and all these other things. But let's face it, it hasn't been super exciting. So I'll hold my opinion until we get to somewhere like Richmond or Martinsville, and maybe even you have to wait until the fall races, the second appearance at those tracks. Maybe they'll need to see what the car does there as a more true test and make more revisions and whatever have you. So at least changes are trying to be made, and that's all I can ask for.
Yeah. All right. Well, today we are going to be enjoying Bristol Motor Speedway. Something I thought was interesting over the weekend that they were going to experiment with the possibility of rain is the sprinkle tires, which for everybody that doesn't know, these are they're treaded tires like we would have on our cars. But I'm sure they're much different than our car tires, but ultimately they're there so that they can wick up water from the ground, but it's not when it's raining. It's only specifically when the ground is wet, and maybe they just don't have enough time to get it all off with the jet dryer or what have you. So with these tires, the first test of these tires were in North Wilkesboro last year in the All-Star race. The treaded tires seem to make the race way better because they seem to have like this fall off. It was quite interesting. This week also I thought was interesting on Stacking Pennies. Corey said that the tire fall off from the softer tires made the tires grip more and last longer instead of fall off and make them slide around. So quite interesting. So it's almost like it's that hot rubber is gluing them to that track. So that's interesting. So unfortunately, I was kind of hoping to see it in action today. Unfortunately, it's not the case. Derek, you went to that All-Star race, right?
Two different races, man. Two different races. You had the race with the sprinkle tires, which was fantastic. And then you had the Kyle Larson fiasco. Unless, of course, you're a Kyle Larson fan, which, I mean, the whole weekend was great up until that point, and it didn't become ungreat when he was out there running. But I think the race was too short. If the race had been a little bit longer, Bubba Wallace was catching Kyle Larson. So, if anything, now this is on the old asphalt. They put brand new asphalt down, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, the Cup cars. They've been testing there, trying to figure out what they want to bring when they go back there. But if anything, from what I saw with the two different sets of tires, the sprinkle tires and the regular race rubber there, the sprinkle tires have a lot of potential if that's what they bring to Bristol or Martinsville. I mean, you're getting close to being on the edge of your seat. You don't want to get too close because it was a bit moist out there and you would have fallen off because they got those old school aluminum seats. Man, people back in the day must have had like some kind of protection on their butt other than that butt cushion, man, because that butt cushion wasn't cutting it. And those seats was hard. I love the seats at Talladega. Nice little fold down plastic deals with cup holders. Spoil us right. I digress. Yeah, so there's two different races, man. You had a sprinkle tire race, and then you had the regular tire race. And if that race had been longer, maybe it would have been a different story, but no. Yeah, and I, like you, Josh, I was hoping we'd see a little bit of moisture on track because anytime NASCAR brings something new, like a sprinkle tire to an existing track like Bristol, then, first time things is just, as a NASCAR fan, it should get you excited. If it doesn't get you excited, you're into the wrong sport. You might want to go watch ice hockey or something with the other hosers that don't like the NASCAR fellas down here.
Golf. I hear that's super exciting. Man, you got 3 chances to hit the ball in the hole. Ooh, man, that's
Robin Williams said it best, man. Golf is golf, and it's good. And if you like golf, that's great. Everybody needs their way to relax. I prefer to watch cars go in left-hand circles for an obscene amount of time at ridiculous speeds. But Robin Williams said it best. The best things about golf you can do with 2 things. You can go to a putt, and you can practice your putting, or you can go to the driving range and take your anger out on that little white ball. All that walking to catch the ball you just hit hundreds of yards just so you can hit it another 100 yards and catch up to it again and repeat the process is insanity. It's crazy. Guys, just turn on and watch some fast cars and NASCAR stars. All right? That's all y'all got to do.
We have the most eyeballs watching us right now. So just in case y'all weren't here earlier in the show, I just want to remind you, we're trying to push this hashtag LaJoin the Fiesta. Go enjoy some Chili's or get it to go, whatever. But send us a picture hanging out with your Chili's and your LaJoy swag. Anything creative, we're going to pick the most creative photo, and they're going to win. We got a $50 gift card. We also got some LaJoy swag. We also got something super cool that we are not going to release. We're just going to let you see it when it happens. All involved with the winner of this contest. So I want you to steal Derek's money. Just do it. All right.
And stop downplaying it. Stop downplaying the super cool surprise, man. It is a freaking awesome. It's so awesome that it's just like, I don't know, man. There's no words. There's accents. You people that's missing out on the Join the Fiesta, you need to get your stuff together. You need to head to the Chili's, get your chips and salsa, the 3 for me, the El Presidente, and then you just snap a little picture with your Coil Joy hat on or your shirt. $50 and a super surprise and some swag. Man, I mean, if I wasn't an admin, I'd be all over this. And we haven't gotten, to be honest, we have not gotten as many entries as we would like to see. So even though that's sad for us, that's great for y'all because that means you have a better opportunity to win. And look, I've been helping y'all out. Every race weekend, I'm going to the Google machine and I'm telling that app, hey, show me where them chilies are close to that racetrack so I can hook my people up. And I put it out there every race weekend so y'all don't even have to hunt. You know, if y'all were in Vegas, y'all would have seen you could have tripped on one and fallen on another. They don't have Waffle Houses that close together. So come on, y'all get your stuff together. We'll join the fiesta.
So next thing I
Amen.
wanted to ask about is this year we do not have a dirty Bristol. We just have regular Bristol. I mean, you know, if you were watching qualifying and practice yesterday and the race, it was they were having the racetrack was dirty. They were having a hard time sticking to it, but there's no more dirty Bristol with the dirt on it. Is this a good thing? I know it's kind of beating a dead horse, but y'all think this is something we should look back into in the future?
If at a different track, a track that is actually dirt, that is not dirt on top of concrete or asphalt. NASCAR's got a lot of home tracks out there where that get neglected. You know, you've got the NASCAR name on the track, but you know, instead of just paving a track that everybody already enjoys the way it was, you know, the novelty wears off after one or two races. And it's not because people don't enjoy dirt track racing. They don't enjoy watching a 3,500-pound stock car dirt track racing, you know. Tony Stewart did it best when he had the Prelude to the Dream at Eldora. You know, you take your stars, you put them in cars that are meant to go around a dirt track, and you watch them run. It was kind of almost like a precursor to the SRX series. The trucks at Eldora on dirt, great. Are they meant to be running trucks there? No, but there are opportunities out there, and I think NASCAR needs to get their head out of the West Coast thing that they've been concentrating on with this whole Dodger Stadium thing. Concentrate on some home tracks, man. You're losing a fan base. North Wilkesboro was a big help, but there's other tracks out there where guys eat, drink, sleep racing. And if you're going to have your name tied to a track, put that track to good use. There's lots of tracks out there that are filthy dirty, and the drivers all say, asphalt's for getting there. Dirt's what you race on. Prove it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter what track they go to, though, to be honest. I don't think whether you take an asphalt track from the Coliseum to Dodger Stadium or whatever, or if you know, go and go to a local series dirt track like you were talking about, a hometown track, Derek. I just don't think the cars are meant to do that. So I don't think there's really a way that you develop a tire or different suspension components. Or I just don't think you're going to see a truly good dirt race in a 3,400-pound stock car or whatever it is. So that being pushed to the side, whether or not Bristol is better on concrete or dirt, I like concrete better than dirt, 100%. But I still don't think Bristol really returns to its magical glory days until they rip up and get rid of the progressive banking and make it a truly one groove racetrack again. And people may hear that now and go, "Oh my God, one groove racing? How is that exciting to watch?" Well, when you put 40 guys that can only run in the same spot, somebody's eventually going to get pissed, and they're just going to move you out of the way. And you know, wrecks are going to happen, and tempers are going to flare, and that's what made Bristol as popular as what it is. And it just kind of blows my mind, really, that here we are in 2024. When you guys watch a commercial advertisement for the race at Bristol, how many clips are on there of like stuff that happened in the last 10 years? Not much, right? It's all still the 95 and 1999 deal with Dale Earnhardt and Terry Labonte. And it was, you know, Tony Stewart doing this, or, you know, Robbie Gordon and Dale Jr. getting into it on pit road after the race, all these things. if that's the image that you're still trying to market 20 years later, just make the track back to how it was 20 years ago, and you can have updated highlight clips. And that's all just personal opinion, right? But I don't think Bristol really goes back to its glory days until we go back to 33 degrees of banking from the apron all the way to the top wall and just be done with it.
Get rid of the sticky stuff, and we have cars that the thing with the new car, right, is with the exception of the wheels, which we've all seen how that happens, either whether or not they fall off on their own or another driver helps you realign your wheel in the outside or inside wall. The cars generally are tougher. So if you want to promote a tougher, stronger car that can last longer and go through more bumps and blows and take race damage, then why would you not put a single groove racetrack out there? Yeah. I'm just a race fan.
Me too.
All right. Well, one topic that has been an interesting discussion the past week is NASCAR's decision with their package, where they're placing the packages. This weekend we're at Bristol and we're running the intermediate package. Now, hopefully this is a good thing because Corey did pretty well at Vegas. So, but why are we not driving a short track package at a short track? And also Phoenix last weekend. A lot of people say, myself included, Phoenix is not a short track. It's more, it races like an intermediate, right? I mean, so why are we testing and running a short track package at Phoenix? I'm sure the testing had something to do with the weather last year when they, I don't know if it was in December or January, so they're going somewhere where the track's not cold. But what y'all think about this? Is Phoenix a short track, and what's the deal with this package stuff?
Josh, you and I have butted heads about this, and I'm just gonna resort back to last year's championship race when Christopher Bell got taken out of the race because his brake rotor exploded. Brake rotors don't explode at intermediate tracks unless you don't know what you're doing. But at a short track, you have all kinds of brake issues. As to why they're running an intermediate package at Bristol, you're going to have to resort to one of the guys that sit in a cubicle somewhere in NASCAR's corporate offices and come up with these brain farts and then dribble them down to somebody that it makes sense to. I couldn't tell you, man. And off of that, I'm just going to reiterate that Phoenix is a short track, man. It always has been. It always will be. It's a short track. And Josh, Phoenix it's a short track. And then Mike, you can have it from here because I said all I need to say.
Phoenix ain't a short track. In my opinion, a short track is anything less than 3/4 in length, 3/4 of a mile. So Richmond, it's like 3/4 of a mile. Then you got Martinsville. I think it's like 0.527 miles, it's a half mile. Then you have Bristol. It's 0.533 miles, just a little over a half mile again. Phoenix is a 1 mile track, pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure it's not a mile and a half.
Mile track.
It has, okay. So it has higher speed straightaways. Yeah, they may slow down a good bit in the corners, but it's flat. Like they're still, in my opinion, it's still much faster than Richmond or anywhere else that you go, or especially Martinsville, like what's being shown in the clip right now. That's short track racing. 120 miles an hour down the straightaway, and you might be down to like 55, 60 miles an hour after the tires are given out after 60 or 70 laps. So not sure why you would use a short track package at an intermediate track like Phoenix, and why you wouldn't use the short track package at the short track Bristol.
You use the short track package at Phoenix because it's a short track. Makes perfect sense. You take that janky little spot where the drivers decide to go 12 wide. You take that out and make it to where they have to remain on the track. It's a short track. Driver innovation has fooled everybody into believing that Phoenix is not a short track. I remember before they repaid it, when they had it configured whichever way they had it before, where the back stretch was a front stretch and turn 4 was turn 1, or however they've done it, they reconfigured that track several times. Swede Savage won there back in the day in the IndyCar. It's the only race win of his career. Totally different track than it is now. It was a short track back then. It's a short track now. And that's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got another Facebook user that's agreeing with me and Josh. They said Phoenix didn't feel tiny. It's more of a middle size to me. Speed was definitely there. And that doesn't sound like a short track. So shout out to our listeners that are tuning in, listening to what we got to say, and most importantly, agreeing with me and Josh. Never mind that guy on the bottom part of the frame. He's talking out of his mind. Phoenix ain't a short track. I digress. Next question, Josh. What you got on the resume?
Well, there's just one person that says I vote the opposite of whatever Josh thinks. So, whatever. I'm gonna let you. I thought about it earlier when we were playing the interview with Corey and he was talking about short track package. And Derek, I'm gonna let you go after the show is over and rewind it and listen to the words that he said, comparing the excitement of a Phoenix racetrack to other intermediates, and he listed other intermediates. I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, I'm no expert, but I know that guy is. So,
yeah.
Just because he wears a helmet doesn't mean he's not taking some kind of hits to the head. I mean, NASCAR race drivers will tell you themselves that they may not be, the brightest guys in the world. And I ain't taking away from anything from Shu. He's a smart fella, but people can be wrong sometimes.
Well, again, we have even more eyeballs watching us, so thank you all for watching us live on Facebook. And again, if you did not hear my spiel or have not seen it, hashtag Join the Fiesta. We want pictures of you enjoying Chili's with your Corey LaJoie swag on. So put it on the Facebook group. We have some pretty killer prizes coming your way. So moving on. With my final debate question here. Today is Bristol, one of all of our favorite racetracks. Corey's had a promising run at Bristol last year on the concrete with leading 48 laps. Do you think that his notes are going to carry over, or is it going to be different because we have now the intermediate package racing on Bristol Speedway today?
We didn't even bring a notebook. They did so much off-season prep and research and all this and so much sim time. The notebook went out the window. Corey LaJoie is going to start 18th today, and we're going to be leading the race by lap 4. That's in 1 minute. We turn laps at about 15 seconds here. So, no, in all seriousness, I think we're going to be okay. I don't know all the dynamics that truly go into it, but I know, for instance, like the air temperature today is 15 or 20 degrees cooler than what it was yesterday when they practiced and qualified. Now, Corey said that the back of the car was a little edgy. I know he was talking about it felt like it was driving more off maybe the right front tire than it was the left rear or right rear. Get with Corey if you need to know exactly what he said, but that's the cliff notes, right? So it seemed like the car was struggling with rear grip. Everything that I know and understand about NASCAR says typically when it's cooler outside, the rear of the car is going to hook up a little better. It's going to be a little more grip. Front end's going to hook a little better as well. I think we're going to be okay today. I think Ryan Sparks and Roy and some of these other guys have probably done their job very well through the offseason. They know they ran well there last year and kind of failed to capitalize on what could have been a rather remarkable race. I feel like they probably don't want to have another one get away from them. I think we're going to be okay. Now, sure as hell as I said that, we probably won't have good luck today because it seems like anytime I say on this show, hey, we're going to do great, something happens. And so let's knock on wood. You know what? So there's this guy that just commented. Let me tell you something. So I don't know if it was one of y'all, or ironically enough, if it was somebody that I work with, because I have been nicknamed on the job No Chin Ben, and I'm not going to show my side facial profile, but I don't have a chin, and So this doesn't even matter, but it's going to be funny. So I don't grow facial hair very good. Me and Corey actually had a good laugh about this in Atlanta. So it takes me forever to grow facial hair. And the other night I decided that, I need to trim up my beard. It was getting a little long. And so I bought this new set of clippers from the Dollar General because I'm just a blue collar guy and, shopping at Walmart can be tough. So you go to the dollar store. So I got some Bosch beard trimmers and I put on a half-inch guard. I work construction every day for a living, ladies and gentlemen. I can read a tape measure. I'm familiar with measurements. I put that guard on, hit one pass, and this is what I was left with. And this is about 1/8 of an inch right here. And I was so mad, guys, because I lost like 6 months worth of really hard work. So y'all laugh it up. It sucks to be me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not
Oh,
gonna argue
man.
with that.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'm sure you'll
Well,
text
hey.
me later with something really nice.
Yeah. Several drinks later. All right. Well, finally, we I don't know if you guys watching, if you know Derek very well, but he is a wealth of knowledge, mostly useless knowledge. I mean, I guess you consider what useless is, but we decided to give him a spotlight and tell us a little bit about his useless knowledge. So this is the very first Derek Skidlid.
All right. Today on Derek Skidlid, first of all, class, sit down, settle in. I'm going to educate you a little bit on the number 71, which has come back this year to Cup Series racing since Ryan Truex tried to qualify his way in 2019 Daytona 500. So Zane Smith is running the 71 full time. But I'm going to give you a little history on the 71 car. Back in NASCAR's very first strictly stock Cup race, the first person to run the 71 car in Cup was also the first female racer in Cup racing, Sarah Christian. Now, Sarah Christian ran a few races in the 71, but the following year, that was in 1949, NASCAR's first season. The following year, in 1950, a name you might be familiar with, Fireball Roberts, at Okanichi Speedway, was the first driver to take the 71 to victory lane in the sport. Now, for those of you that don't know, you can still go to Okanichi Speedway today. They've been out there. They fixed it up a little bit. You can step back in time a little bit with that. You can't see where NASCAR's first race took place because Charlotte Douglas International Airport is currently there, but there is a historical marker outside of the airport if you want to go check that out. There have been other notable names that have driven the 71 over the years. Cotton Owens, Leroy Yarborough, Sam McQuagg, James Hilton, Dick Trickle, and Ray Hendrick. And right there, you're looking at Mario Andretti, who drove the 71 at NASCAR's first race of the season in 1966 at Riverside. That's right, 1966. They didn't begin at Daytona. They began their season at Riverside. Now, following Mario Andretti's start in the 71 car, Gordon Johncock also drove the 71 car. Now, that was the first start for the K&K insurance team, which was formed by gentlemen that we'll get into in a second. But Mario Andretti and Gordon Johncock also have one other thing in common other than driving the 71 car at one point. Both of those gentlemen are Indianapolis 500 winners. So a little bit more useless information for you, just in case you can't get enough of it. But Gordon Johncock's start in the 71 in 1966 was the introduction of K&K Insurance to the racing world. K&K Insurance was started by Nord Kroskoff and his wife, and his wife's name was Theodora, by the way. And basically, they used their race team as a way to advertise their insurance, which was basically, it was a benevolent fund for injured race car drivers. So if you needed insurance and you got hurt, you went to K&K. Now, those of you that are vaguely familiar with the sport, or you may not be, one of the most underappreciated NASCAR champions of all time. Hold on. I have show and tell. Bobby Isaac. He started racing for the K&K insurance team with Harry Hyde as his crew chief in 1966. He had the most success with the number, and the picture you're looking at there is from his time in Bonneville. Maybe in a later episode we'll go more in depth with Bobby Isaac, but he had the most success with that car. That car number had the most success with Bobby Isaac. And those of you that are familiar enough with Bobby Isaac have heard the story that he heard a ghost in his head, or he heard voices in his head tell him to get out the car at Talladega, so he parked it and left. Partially true. He didn't leave the team right away. He actually ran 3 more races for K&K Insurance in the 71 car. And then at that point, when he left the team, another familiar name that you should know, if you don't, then you're not a NASCAR fan. Buddy Baker stepped in to take his place. It's right there. You're looking at a picture of Buddy Baker and Harry Hyde at Daytona. Buddy Baker ran 37 races in the 71 car, and he actually got 4 wins with it as well. Now, once Buddy Baker stepped away, there was an intermediary driver before the next driver I'm going to talk about. I mentioned him earlier, Ray Hendrick, Mr. Modified. He drove the 71 car for K&K Insurance in Martinsville in 1974. And then after that race, that's when the driver that y'all are probably more familiar with in the 71, Dave Marcus, stepped in and started driving for K&K Insurance with the 71. You should notice something familiar about all these pictures. They're all the orange K&K Insurance car. This car is synonymous with the 71. Dave Marcus is actually responsible for 589 races with that number, which I think is about half of the race starts for that car number over the years. Now, once Dave Marcus stepped out, a gentleman named Neil Bonnet stepped in and started driving the 71. Now, in the picture, you're going to see the number 5, and there's a reason for that. That's because in 1977, Nord Kroskoff decided that he had had enough of NASCAR and he wanted to concentrate more on his insurance business, which is still around today. And he sold to J.D. Stacy. Now, those of you that are familiar with NASCAR from the late 70s, early 80s, you should be very familiar with J.D. Stacy. At some points, he would show up to the tracks with, I think, like 5 or 6 cars. But guys like Dale Earnhardt Sr., Tim Richmond, they all drove for J.D. Stacy at some point in time. Hold on, I lost my notes. I told myself I wasn't going to need notes. And now that I have notes, I feel handicapped. So bear with me here. So Neil Bonnet, the 5 car, basically, he drove the 71 car for K&K Insurance until May of 1977. That was the last time you saw the famous orange K&K Insurance 71. Actually, I don't even think K&K Insurance was on the car at the time. I think it was First National, if I'm not mistaken. If you know better, correct me in the comments afterwards. So Neil Bonnet, July 4th, Daytona is when you saw the 5 car come up for the first time. But something special happened afterwards. Once Neil Bonnet was no longer in the 71, a familiar name came back to it. Dave Marcus. And this is the point in Dave Marcus's career where he became synonymous as the driver in the 71 car. Now, in that picture right there, what you're looking at is the very last race win to date of the 71 car in the Cup Series. Dave Marcus won in that car at Richmond in 1982. And he went on to have a longer career in the 71. But for the most part, after that, and after Dave Marcus stepped away from competition, the 71 wasn't really relevant. You had a handful of drivers step in and step out. But in 2009, the team called the Racers Group was formed, or wasn't formed, it was formed before that. They decided they were going to try their hand at NASCAR Cup Series racing, and they had drivers behind the wheel of their car like David Gilliland, Bobby Labonte, Andy Lally, and Brendan Gaughan. And they ran the 71 up until 2012, which at this point, that kind of brings us full circle to Ryan Truex, who, as previously stated, was the last driver to run the 71. Even though he didn't make the Daytona 500, he did attempt to make the Daytona 500 in the 71. But there's bonus content for those of you that are Spire Motorsports fans, fans of Corey LaJoie. You may be familiar with the name of a man who is a new father, TJ Bell, spotter for Corey LaJoie. Now, did he drive the 71? No. But the Racers Group, he did drive for the Racers Group in 2008 in the Truck Series. Andy Lally, who did actually drive the 71 in the Cup Series, was having some sponsorship issues and was taken out of the truck. And our boy, 2004 ARCA Menards Rookie of the Year, TJ Bell, stepped in. And he ran a handful of races. He had 5 top 10s, 7 for the year total. And that was in the 7 truck. So here's where it gets weird, right? I was discussing with the fellas earlier. You get into NASCAR history, you do a little research, and it's strange how some of these things just kind of intertwine and how deep you can go down the rabbit hole. So the TRG group, they ran a 7, they ran a 71, and they ran a 77. Now, TJ Bell's story with TRG is not done there. He also attempted a Cup Series start at Talladega in 2011 in the 77 with Dan Weldon's name on the name rail. And for those of you that may not be in the know, Dan Weldon, there's a special documentary on HBO Max right now if you want to learn more about Dan Weldon. Phenomenal guy, father, husband. Y'all should check that out. But for now, I think, class, that's all I got for you. So this is the point where I say class dismissed.
Thanks, Professor.
No homework. Go enjoy your weekend. Watch a race.
Finally. Very good. Well,
good job, buddy.
I try. My head's killing me right now.
You guys
take a. Go ahead, Derek.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, you guys, that's not scripted. This is stuff that we hear every day. So
yeah.
whether or not
I did come up with clip notes just to kind of keep track, but yeah, I bore people all the time with shit that I don't even know where I come up with it, but you're welcome.
Yeah. Hey, know much more than I do, and you've been watching less than I have. You only been watching for what, 20 years? So
since 2004. And the question is, now that you know that much more, do you feel like you can do a lot with it? Probably not. But yeah.
No, I know I can, because tomorrow we're pouring a 24 by 36 foot pad of concrete. And so I can't wait while we're out there trialing and bull floating to be like, man, y'all ain't never going to believe who drove the 71 car back in the late 70s. And they're going to be like, oh, how does that relate to concrete? And I'll be like, I don't know. But, I just want y'all to know that I'm more interested in my podcast than I am this concrete.
Hey,
So,
I do have to say this tidbit, right? So my wife all the time accuses me of having all this wealth of useless knowledge. Well, she got into insurance sales and she's working from home. And one day she gets a call from this lady and she feels like the call's not going all that well. And then the lady says, well, the wife has to ask, well, where do you live? And the lady tells her, she's like, well, I live in Danville, Virginia. And my wife's like, Danville, Virginia. That sounds familiar. Yeah, my husband's in a NASCAR, and he likes to do a lot of crazy stuff, lead me on these wild road trips to go. Isn't there a NASCAR driver from Danville, Virginia? Well, yes, there is. And you know what? It's Wendell Scott. And you know what happened? Because my wife told this lady that, she made a really killer sale. So, honey, you're welcome. My useless knowledge has helped keep the lights on and you quiet. I mean, happy. I meant happy, babe. I love you. Don't hurl me later.
I wish I had like a fire effect, like a scorch.
that's right. Derek, let me ask. I don't know if your wife's watching this now, but if she is, how comfortable is your couch? Because I'm pretty sure that's bed tonight.
Oh no, you see this
enjoy
background?
that?
This is my dude space. I have a special punishment area where I can come in here and look at all the racing pictures and the Bush Light lady from back when Bush was on the 97 car. She may or may not be scantily clad. I don't want to divulge in case we have underage viewers.
Gotcha. Well, let's go. We have been talking for a long time, and we have had the most viewers and most interactions that we've ever had. So pretty cool to see all you guys. Can't watch it. So
What happened?
Otherwise, I was reading some comments and seeing if it was anything worth throwing up here. But I want to end this all, y'all. I'm excited for Bristol today, and I just appreciate you hanging out with me.
Sir.
Yeah, hey, don't forget, you're missing the
15
perfect opportunity to plug LaJoy in the Fiesta again one final time.
Nope.
Because
We done it 3 times. We're doing it for Dale, and that's it. Nobody cares about Sterling Marlin, who drove the 4-car back in the day. We're doing it for Dale 3
I
times.
care about Sterling Marlin. Come on, man. Why you gotta hate? Where's all that
I'm
hate
not
coming
hating.
from?
You think
I mean,
no,
it
guys
sounds.
have wrote hate mail to him?
All right, look,
Yeah.
y'all. Here's what matters. All right, before the man who had an incident with a shovel in his youth got involved with this conversation, y'all need to join the Fiesta, and it's quite simple. You just go into Chili's, and if you're watching this, the odds are you're a Corey LaJoy fan. So take your hat and your shirt, go into Chili's, get you some pictures of you enjoying a 3 for me, an El Presidente, some chips and salsa. You don't have to spend very much. The chips and salsa are free. Just get yourself a little appetizer. I highly recommend the Southwest egg rolls. And Corey LaJoy would highly recommend ranch with whatever you order. I wouldn't mix it with an El Presidente. But LaJoy in the Fiesta, send us your hashtag. Come over to the Facebook page. You can win $50 gift card, some swag, and the thing that my boy Josh keeps downplaying, the super uber mega surprise. So it's look, you're not going to know until it's announced, and if you don't enter, then you can't win, and you're not going to be in the know. And then once you see the surprise, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass. So get out there. Y'all still got a little bit of time left. We pick the winners on April 1st. So get at it.
Not a joke. And I've seen a few comments of how they're having issues with getting their merch in. So y'all, you can still give some effort. Do what you got to do to get our attention and make us want to pick you for the winner. Give you some cool stuff. So you can only do as much as you can afford and as much as you can get, right? So, but all right. Well, good deal. Well, you guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody watching on Team Super Shoe Live, and it'll be on YouTube and the audio realm everywhere else. And I'm just excited for some racing today. Other than that, everybody, God bless, stay safe, and go Corey LaJoy.